Welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah.
We're going to be sifting through all kinds of sources today.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be looking at blog posts and articles and even podcasts. We're going to be going deep on AI and genealogy.
Really exciting stuff.
It is. Now, I know AI can be a little bit intimidating. You know, it sounds
Oh, yeah, it can be. Like what?
very technical.
It is. It's very buzzy right now.
Very buzzy. But we're going to break it all down for you today
Absolutely.
so that by the end of this deep dive, you'll not only understand the potential of AI for like uncovering your family history and
Yeah.
learning more about your ancestors, but also some of the pitfalls,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
some of the limitations.
and the limitations.
Yeah, because it's not all sunshine and roses.
It's not a perfect solution.
No, it's not.
It's a tool. And
Exactly.
like all tools, it has its pluses and minuses.
Exactly.
So one of the things that we're going to be looking at today is how AI is already being used in genealogy. Like it's not a future thing. This is happening right now.
Oh, yeah. It's happening now.
So this article we found, Inteligencia Artificial Revolucionará Búsqueda y Construcción de Árbol Genealógico Familiar.
Wow. You speak Spanish.
I use Google Translate.
Fair enough.
But it talks about how there are tons of Spanish and Portuguese genealogical records that are already being indexed using AI.
That's incredible. Think about how many people that opens up the world of genealogy to.
Millions and millions, right?
Billions and millions. It's amazing.
And it's not just these big databases either.
Oh, yeah.
Like we found this blog, storydirectspolafamily.blogspot.com, and they're talking about using AI to organize and analyze their family information too.
So it's really going from the top all the way down to the individual genealogy.
So it's really making a big impact at all levels.
It's impacting genealogy at all levels.
So how does this AI magic actually work? We keep hearing about these large language models. What are they?
Well, large language models, or LLMs, as the cool kids call them,
Okay.
they're basically like the brains behind all of these AI tools that we're talking about.
Okay, so they're like the engine under the hood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're really good at handling language.
They are.
Like amazingly good.
I mean, this is what we're seeing with like chat bots and all kinds of things. It's like,
It's wild.
it's incredible.
I listened to this podcast, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, RLP 319.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's really good. And the guy, Steve Little, he calls LLMs the brains behind this whole AI genealogy thing. And it really is a good way to think about it.
So these brains they're constantly learning, right? They don't just stop at some point.
No, they're constantly evolving, and that's part of what makes this field so exciting.
Like they're getting smarter all the time.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
In that same podcast, they actually go on to talk about these 4 key strengths of LLMs that are particularly useful for genealogy.
Okay, lay it on me. I want to hear this.
All right, so number 1, summarization.
Okay, I've heard of that, like summarizing text.
Exactly. So imagine you've got like a 50-page military record of your great-grandfather.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't want to read through all 50 pages. You just want the key details.
That sounds amazing because that would save so much time.
Oh, it would
Save hours and hours.
hours and hours.
And you could do that with like history books or letters, like anything you can think of. You can get it summarized down to its main points.
That is so cool.
It is.
Okay, so that's summarization. What's the second one?
All right, so the second one is extraction.
Extraction. What's that all about?
Okay, so think about like a will
Okay.
full of legal jargon.
Oh, yeah.
Really hard to understand.
Nobody wants to deal with that.
Exactly. But AI can pick out the important facts, like names, dates, relationships.
Oh, so it can like pull out those key bits of information?
It sifts through all the noise and pulls out exactly what you need.
Okay.
All right, and the third one is generation.
Generation.
Yeah.
Like electricity generation.
Not quite. No, it's about generating text.
What?
Yeah. So like turning a list of facts into a story or even like writing a first draft of your family history. Hold on. So you're telling me that I can give the AI a bunch of names and dates and places and it can weave them into a story?
That's the idea. And it can even be tailored to your specific style. Like Steve Little talked about this concept of 0-shot and 2-shot prompts, where you can basically teach the AI how you want it to write.
That is mind-blowing.
It's pretty wild.
Okay, so we got summarization, extraction, generation.
What
the fourth one?
So the fourth one is translation.
Okay, so we're not just talking about like Spanish to English.
Yep, we're going beyond that.
Okay.
So AI can translate writing styles.
Okay.
Like turning that complicated legal jargon in a will into plain English.
So it's like simplifying.
Exactly.
Oh.
Or imagine taking something written for an adult and simplifying it so a child can understand.
That's amazing.
It really opens up a lot of possibilities.
Especially for like sharing those stories with younger generations.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is all very impressive in theory, but let's get practical. Like, how are people actually using these AI capabilities in their genealogy research today?
Well, one of the biggest areas is organization and analysis of family information.
Okay.
So, for example, Family Search, a really popular website for genealogists.
So I've heard of that one.
Yeah, they're already using AI to help people find connections to their ancestors.
That's cool.
It's really helpful for managing those massive family trees that people are building.
Yeah, but in that RLP 319 podcast that we keep talking about, Steve Little also cautioned against just throwing your entire giant family tree at an LLM.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah? Why is that?
He says it's better to start small and have realistic expectations
Okay.
because these tools are still evolving,
Right.
They can struggle with very large data sets, so it's better to start with the smaller portion of your tree and see what the AI can do.
So don't like overload it right out of the gate.
Exactly. Ease it in.
Okay.
Another area where AI is proving to be super helpful is with transcription.
Oh yeah, tell me about that, because I have tried to decipher my ancestors' handwritten letters and documents, and it's
It's a nightmare.
a nightmare.
It really is.
It's like chicken scratch.
But AI is coming to the rescue, and it's actually similar technology to speech recognition.
Oh really?
Think about how far Siri or Alexa have come in understanding our voices.
Right.
AI handwriting recognition is on a similar trajectory.
Wow.
There's this program, and I've heard it called 2 different names,
Okay.
Transcribus or Transcribius.
Okay, we'll put a link in the show notes for everyone.
It's considered the industry leader for handwriting recognition.
That's fantastic.
It's a total game changer.
So this whole idea of AI being able to generate text and create narratives,
Right.
you can apply that to creating full-fledged family histories.
Absolutely.
So instead of just having a list of names and dates, you can get a beautifully written story.
You can. And with those 0-shot and 2-shot prompts we talked about, you can actually guide the AI towards a style that feels authentic to your family.
Wow, that sounds almost too good to be true. Is there anything AI can't do in genealogy?
Well, that's a great question, and here's where we need to talk about some limitations.
Okay, let's hear.
LLMs are not very good at finding accurate genealogical information on their own.
So wait a minute, you're telling me I can't just ask an AI, go find my great-great-grandmother?
You can ask,
Okay.
but don't expect accurate results.
Oh.
Their knowledge is limited to what they've been trained on, and there's a big risk of what's called hallucination.
Hallucination.
Basically, the AI making stuff up.
So listeners, this is super important. You cannot just blindly trust any answers you get from AI when it comes to specific genealogical research. You still need your own skills and judgment to evaluate the information and separate fact from fiction.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about this today. We want to give you all the information so you can make the best decisions for your research.
It's about using AI as a tool to enhance what you're already doing, not replacing human genealogists.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Now, there are a lot of interesting discussions happening right now about the implications of AI in genealogy and how this technology might affect things in the future, like ethically and stuff.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole conversation to be had there.
So we're going to delve into all of that in the next part of our deep dive.
We are so stay tuned.
Stay tuned, listeners, because we are going to explore the future of AI in genealogy and what it might mean for you and your family history.
It's a wild ride.
It is a wild ride.
I don't want to miss it.
You don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
So we've talked about like the potential of AI in genealogy, but
Yeah.
as with any powerful technology, like there's always those questions and even concerns that pop up.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the things we should be thinking about as AI, becomes more common in genealogy?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that genealogy is deeply personal.
Oh, yeah.
It's about our families and our ancestors and our stories.
It's not just data.
Right, exactly. And when we bring AI into the picture, we need to be mindful of how it might impact those personal connections.
So it's like we're dealing with real people's lives and legacies here,
We are.
not just like, data points.
And one question that often comes up is about control, like who actually controls the data that's used to train these AI models.
Right? And who gets to decide how that data is used?
Exactly.
Like if I upload my family tree to an online service that uses AI, do I still have control over that information?
That's a really good question, and it's one that everyone should ask themselves.
Yeah.
Like, you need to understand the terms of service for any platform that you're using and make sure you're comfortable with how they're handling your data.
That's good advice for anything online, really, not just genealogy.
Absolutely.
What about bias in these AI systems? I mean, we know that any technology, it reflects the biases of its creators.
Hmm.
So how can we be sure that, you know, AI and genealogy is treating everyone's history fairly and accurately?
That's a huge topic of discussion in the AI world as a whole.
Yeah.
It's something that developers are trying to work on, like how to create algorithms that are as unbiased as possible.
Okay.
But it's also up to us as users
Okay.
to be aware of the possibility for bias and to look at the information we're getting from these tools with a critical eye.
So it's not just like a set it and forget it
Yeah.
kind of thing. You have to be really engaged
You got to be engaged.
with the AI and think about what it's doing.
And that kind of leads us into like the really exciting part.
Okay.
What does the future hold for AI and genealogy?
Let's gaze into our crystal ball.
All right, let's do it.
What are some of the trends you're seeing out there? Like, what are people predicting?
Well, it's pretty clear that AI is going to become even more integrated into how we do genealogy.
Okay.
Like, we're going to see more AI tools, more features,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to get even more sophisticated.
Okay. And what about the LLMs themselves?
Yeah.
Like, they're already pretty incredible. Are they going to keep getting smarter?
They are absolutely going to keep learning and evolving.
It's amazing.
They'll be able to handle even more complex tasks.
Right.
And provide us with even deeper insights into our family histories.
So it's not just about, like, finding information faster.
No.
It's about finding information that you might not have even thought to look for.
It's about uncovering things we might never have found on our own.
You know, in that ROP 319 podcast,
Mm-hmm.
Steve Little, he predicted that we're going to see a lot more competition in the AI genealogy space.
You did. Yeah.
What does that mean for the average person using these tools?
Usually more competition is a good thing.
No,
It means more options,
Right.
more innovation, and hopefully lower prices.
So instead of just having one or two big players,
Yeah.
we'll have a whole ecosystem
A whole ecosystem of tools.
of AI tools for genealogy.
And more specialized tools, too.
Okay.
Tools that are tailored to specific types of research. You know, or specific regions or specific family histories.
So you can really get granular with it.
You really can.
And I think it's really important to keep in mind amidst all this technological advancement,
Yeah.
like what really matters at the heart of genealogy.
Absolutely.
It's those human connections, those stories that connect us to our past.
You're right. AI is an incredible tool,
It is.
but it's just that it's a tool.
It can help us uncover information, but it can't tell us what it means.
Exactly. It's up to us to interpret that information and to weave those facts into meaningful narratives.
And to connect with our ancestors on a human level.
Absolutely.
So as we move forward into this, you know, really interesting new era of AI-powered genealogy,
Mm-hmm.
let's not lose sight of that human element.
Yeah.
Let's use these tools to do better research,
Right.
deepen our understanding,
Yeah.
and strengthen those bonds that connect us to our families and our past.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of the, like, potential and some of the big questions around AI and genealogy.
Mhm.
But I'm kind of curious from your perspective, like, what's the one thing you think is most important for our listeners to, like, keep in mind
Okay.
as they're starting to, you know, explore AI for their own family history research?
I think the biggest thing is approach it with a healthy dose of both excitement and skepticism.
Okay.
Embrace those amazing possibilities that these tools offer,
Yeah.
but don't forget to think critically.
So it's not about just blindly trusting the AI to do all the work for you.
Exactly.
Still got to use your brain.
You still got to use your brain.
Okay.
AI can help you find information faster,
Right.
maybe make connections you might have missed,
Mm-hmm.
and even tell your family story in a more engaging way.
Right.
But it's still up to you, the human genealogist, to
Yeah.
look at the information, decide if it's accurate, and ultimately figure out how you want to use it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's your parting advice for listeners who are like, oh my gosh, I want to go try this stuff now? Like, how do I get started?
My first piece of advice would be, don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
There are so many great tools and resources out there,
Hmm.
and a lot of them have free trials or like limited free versions, so you can kind of try things out,
Right.
see what works for you.
Yeah, just play around with it a little bit.
Exactly.
See what you think.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah. Where would you suggest people go to learn more about these AI tools and resources?
There are some amazing websites and online communities dedicated to AI and genealogy.
Oh,
I would check out the blogs and forums of some of those big genealogy organizations like Family Search, My Heritage.
Yeah.
They often have articles and tutorials, even webinars
oh wow.
on this topic.
Nice.
And honestly, don't underestimate the power of a Google search.
Right.
Just type in AI for genealogy and you'll be amazed at what comes up.
And of course, that RLP 319 podcast we've been mentioning throughout this episode.
Yes.
That's a great resource for anyone who wants to learn more from Steve Little.
Absolutely. Steve's a true pioneer in this field.
Right.
His insights are invaluable.
Right.
Highly recommend listening to that episode. And, you know, if you're really serious about this, subscribe to the whole podcast.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too.
And I hope our listeners feel the same way.
I hope so.
But before we sign off, I
Yeah.
just want to leave everyone with one final thought.
Right.
As we're kind of moving into this world of, you know, these incredible new tools and AI and all this stuff, let's not forget that genealogy is really about connecting with our past,
Yes.
honoring our ancestors, understanding our place in this, you know, big, huge tapestry of human history.
It's a big story.
It is a big story, and AI can help us do that in ways we never even thought possible.
Yeah.
But it's up to us to use it wisely, ethically,
Right.
and with a deep appreciation for the stories that we're uncovering.
Beautifully said.
Well, this has been an incredible exploration of AI and genealogy.
It has.
And remember, everyone, don't be afraid to experiment, explore, and stay curious. This field is just getting started, and the possibilities are really exciting.
So exciting. Happy researching, everyone.